the biggest thing that I would say is if you're starting out on your entrepreneurial journey, you need to learn how to separate yourself from your business. Your business cannot become your identity.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Inspired Talks podcast. I'm super excited for today's episode because we have special guest, Carley Pina. Yeah, I see that right. But I'm super excited for today because we are actually in her studio space filming this podcast. So we're super grateful to be here and have you on. Can you just tell a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
So I am a real estate agent primarily here in South Florida. And I've been doing it for about 2.5 years or so. And then recently I opened up this studio space, which is a content studio. And, people come here, shoot podcasts, photo shoots, video shoots, content for Instagram, all of the things.
Right. No, that's amazing. And I can't lie, this is like hands down one of the best spots here in South Florida. I'm so happy that you guys opened up because this is something that was in our mind, like as content creators, like we wish we had a spot we can shoot at that had multiple spaces that we can shoot with different backgrounds, different feel, that minimal look. And you guys brought that vision out for sure. But I just want to talk a little bit about, your entrepreneur journey, since the audience is a lot of entrepreneurs that are starting out on their journey or looking to start, their entrepreneur business. So I just want you to talk about, what led you into this space in terms of like entrepreneurship?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, it definitely wasn't something. I've talked to a lot of people who are like, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was a child, and I used to come up with these little businesses, and it's like that was not me at all.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I never really thought about it that much. Like for sure, I thought I would be on like the corporate track like forever.
Right.
And I don't know. I think honestly, I was just I started working like my career in the corporate world, working a 9 to 5, and I was just a little bit unhappy. And honestly, I think a big part of it was my husband has always been an entrepreneur, and I had like some other friends who were kind of on their entrepreneurship journey. I liked the flexibility of it, the lifestyle, being able to kind of like be your own boss and have just overall more flexibility in your day-to-day life and your schedule. So I was like, you know what? I can give this a try.
Right. And you just took that leap. And I know that you have a background in fashion. And I even read, on your Instagram post that you actually had a first business idea that didn't go through or didn't get off the ground. Can you share a little bit about that business idea and what happened in that stage?
Sure. So that was, I lived in New York City before coming to Miami. Okay. Great place.
Yeah.
So I lived there, and I was working at the time at like a market research company, and I had an idea basically to start designing like websites and also doing like, I guess you could call it marketing, but basically I wanted specifically to do this for nail salons, beauty.
Okay.
Exactly. Eyelash places, eyebrows, all the things that, women love.
Spend money
on. Exactly. So I noticed when I would go to these different salons in New York City, I would just like pick up on things that they could be doing better. Because a lot of them, like they have zero customer service, right?
Wow.
Like you just go in and you pay for your service, and maybe you like it, maybe you don't, then you leave.
Right.
So my idea was basically to help them kind of like grow and retain customers and like create a great website that would draw people in and do their social media and create little like loyalty cards and programs that would get people coming back.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of what I wanted to do. I created like a whole website for it, everything.
My gosh.
I put in a lot of like the pre-work, And then I was just kind of like, I don't know if I fully have time to commit to this, to like getting clients and that sort of thing.
Oh my goodness.
So it never made it off the ground. Still think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea. I was like, did it happen? That's crazy.
Stay tuned for the future.
Okay. So you're still working on it, maybe, in the future. Let's do that. Okay. No, that's pretty cool. I mean, so during that stage of your life, like, how do you still were able to build the confidence to, start your real estate business? Because now you're under Compass Realty, correct?
Yes,
correct. Were you always with them or?
Yeah. Okay. I've been with Compass for a while, and I work on a small team at Compass. Real estate was something that I was always interested in. I just thought it would be like kind of tricky in New York City because you don't have a car. You have to like schlep on the subway all over from Harlem to FiDi.
It's insane. It's
a lot. So I was always interested in it, but in New York, I just didn't really know if it could work like logistically. So once I moved down here, I kept the job that I had for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? Now could be the time. It was 2020. It was the pandemic. Things were weird for everyone. So I was like, I think it's time to kind of take that leap. And I did leave my corporate job first, and then kind of took a little time and eased into the process. Okay,
that makes sense. And that's been what, 3 years now? 4 years?
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5 years. Okay. Yeah, because 2023. But and on that journey, what were some of like those challenges I guess you faced early on? Was there anything challenging like in terms of mindset wise or financially wise or anything like that came up during that time?
All of those things.
Pretty much.
Every single one.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, mindset, totally. I think when you go from working in the corporate world and you have set hours and you have a boss who's telling you what to do every day, you show up, you know exactly what to do, you do your tasks, and you go home.
Yeah.
It's so difficult at the beginning, at least it was for me, when you start working for yourself to kind of like switch your mindset.
From employee to business owner.
It's so difficult. I mean, even just with like daily to do, like keeping yourself on track, because there's so many things, like when you own a business, there's so many things that are going through your head 24/7, right? Like different ideas of like, oh, I could do this for marketing, or, I could get new clients this way, or oh, I need to fix this on my website. So to keep yourself like on a straight path of a schedule every single day is really, really challenging at first.
I agree.
Another thing I struggled with too, and I still do 2.5 years in, is not feeling guilty if I want to take some time off. Like I think when you're a business owner, you constantly feel like, like you just have to keep going. And if you're not working, you're not making money. And
I'm a victim of that.
Yes, it's really, really challenging. Like, I mean, I'm sure, you guys work weekends sometimes. I do too. And sometimes I'm like, all right, let me just give myself a day off during the week. I worked all weekend, but then I struggle with that.
It's such a struggle. It's such a struggle for us. Like 24/7, we're like, okay, we can do this for the business. We should be doing this for the podcast. We should be doing this for Instagram. So many different, and then we have client work that we got to worry about.
Yes.
And you do feel, well, personally, I do feel like, it's a struggle, or if it's like, it's going to push me back if I don't do it. I feel guilty if I don't, work on certain things. But I think having that time to, make time for your mindset, for your self-development, for your well-being is very important. That's some of the things that has helped us. Some of the things that we used to love doing is go to the beach every Monday for our meetings. So we'll have Monday meetings at the beach, and then we can kind of talk about business, then we cut it off and then focus on just being in that moment. So that's something that we want to go back to, because we stopped doing it for a couple months now and we're getting kind of drained. I'm not gonna lie. But it's just, what are some of the things that you do that kind of keep you centered and grounded into like just living life and being, just an everyday human versus like a worker?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I'm totally in agreement with you. I'm really not about the hustle culture. Like, I'm super into like taking time for yourself and trying to like reset, and just because I feel like you know, if you're not feeling like calm and grounded and, you know, if you're just working all the time, it really wears you out. And I think it can affect the quality of your business and like what you're putting out there for your clients. I also love to go to the beach. I'm a big beach person. Like even just starting my day with like a nice hour-long walk on the beach makes a huge difference for me. I, for a while, was really into like meditation, journaling. I've gotten away from it a little bit, but I really need to go back because it was super helpful. Just like taking a few minutes in the morning, jotting some things down, like not even work related, or just kind of like venting and getting some thoughts out about how you feel that day. Was really big for me.
No, that makes sense. And I know that's something that we try to practice in terms of like our routine. Like it's hard to do the same thing over and over and over again, but we know it's very important in terms of having a daily routine on how to set yourself up for the rest of the day. So like our goal is to, you know, be more consistent waking up earlier.
That's a tough one.
That is so tough.
That's a tough one.
But I mean, it's something that we're working on. But I was going to ask you in terms of your idea in terms of the studio. Like I kind of want to know how did this vision come to life? Like initially, is this something you always had in your heart, or is just
No. So I have used a studio space before to like just get some content for my marketing, for my Instagram, all those things. And I really enjoyed it. But I in my business, I decided I wanted to start being like really intentional about creating consistent content. I think consistency is key. And so my thought was, you know, if I have a space, I can make content for myself, for my business. And a big part of it too was I was super interested in a while in doing Airbnb. Obviously, I'm a real estate agent, so all these things are interesting to me. But Airbnb seemed to me kind of like a big task at the time. So having a studio space that I could rent out in smaller increments for like a few hours or the day just seemed a little bit more manageable. Makes sense. It was kind of like a combination of both. I wanted a space to use for myself. And this was like a way for me to kind of like test out how it would feel to rent out any sort of property.
That makes sense now. Started off on this scale since it's a little bit more feasible, you know. And so I guess for yourself, like what's next then? Like what's next for Carley? What's next for the studio? Do you have anything new that or exciting coming up?
Good question. Well, like I've told you, I've definitely gotten super into like creating content, and I want to start creating different types of content too. I like to do on my page like home tours and a lot of like educational content, but I'd love to start doing more like lifestyle things because I'm a huge foodie. I love to eat. I feel like I'm always out eating and at restaurants, but like I don't really share it that much. That's something I would love to start sharing with people. So that's kind of like on the horizon for me.
Let's go.
Studio's doing great so far, and honestly, I would consider maybe opening up a second location in the future.
Here in Miami, or
I don't know, maybe a little further north to kind of like.
I like that.
We get a lot of people who say they're like driving from further north, so. That's something that I'm maybe considering as well.
That's super exciting. I can't wait for that. But this has been awesome. Can you share a little bit, just some advice you would say to, the person that's starting out, whether they're on their real estate journey or the entrepreneur journey in general? What are some, I guess, tips or advice or final words you can say or share with them just starting out?
Definitely the biggest thing that I would say is if you're starting out on your entrepreneurial journey, you need to learn how to separate yourself from your business. Your business cannot become your identity.
That's big.
And for me, that was the biggest struggle at the beginning, because when you don't own a company or where you're working for someone else, like you can really detach from it, right? Like you do what you need to do, and then you go home for the day and you can just mentally unplug.
Easy.
But it's so hard to do that when you own the business, and it's also really difficult to not feel like something that doesn't go. If something goes wrong in your business, it's easy to take that on and feel like you failed personally. Wow. And so something for me that really helped is just kind of remembering like okay, I am not my business. You know what I mean? Like outside of my business, I'm a great wife.
Yeah.
I'm a great friend.
Yeah.
I'm a great daughter.
Wow.
I'm a great dog mom.
Let's go, dog mom. Let's go.
Like so many things.
Yeah.
And I really need to like stop and remind myself of that, because if one thing goes wrong, like in your business, or, you know, you don't land that new client that you wanted, or it's so easy to take it really personally and just start to feel like, oh, I'm a failure. And you know,
Yeah.
so that's probably the biggest piece of advice. I would also
gosh.
say, like, always celebrate small wins.
Yes.
Small wins are everything.
Wow, that's huge.
The small wins add up to the big wins.
Yes.
And if you keep celebrating them, it kind of just like gives you the motivation to keep going. I also think it's great to surround yourself with like-minded individuals or people who in some way, shape, or form are kind of on the same journey that you are.
Yeah.
And can understand like your struggles or your wins or
Yeah.
things like that, because it can feel like really lonely being an entrepreneur sometimes.
Yep.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's you have a different set of struggles and things that you're going through, so having people that are in your corner that like understand you know,
Yeah.
just what you're going through and your struggles, your pain points, your things that are exciting to you, to just to talk to them
Just
is
to talk to, yeah.
huge.
Yeah, that community aspect is huge for us. And that's something that we always talked about, you know, me and my wife, from the moment we got together. Like, we're big on community. Like, we have to find people that's around, like, that can surround us with the same ideas, the same mindset. Because, I mean, we have our family, we have friends, but they're not going to understand the day-to-day that we
sure.
go through as business owners. And something that you mentioned is about not taking the identity of your business. I think that's huge. And that's something that I think I fall victim of as well. But I wanted to ask, like, how do you, like what made you think that way? Like, how do you turn that off for you, like, personally? Because for me, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie.
It is tough. It's really tough. Honestly, I think I try to just reset a little bit and do the things that like I really love to kind of like take my mind off of it, you know? Like if I have a bad day or a bad week in business, like I'll try to just say, okay, let me reset. Let me spend some time with my husband on the weekend, or, you know, go to the beach, which I mentioned I love. Just like something that's really relaxing and that allows you to kind of like unplug. Because
so nothing big or anything, just
something small that just kind of like allows you to separate from your business, because otherwise then it's like you're just sitting thinking about that you know, that thing that didn't go right, or you know. So for me, it's just been kind of like taking a step back, unplugging, and just maybe like talking to someone, like I was saying, who can relate and just
let it all out. I love that. Okay, thank you for that. That's more for me personally.
It's hard.
It is hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's so hard, like, to unplug from what we're doing on the daily, because like our baby, you know, we see it grow every day. So I mean, how can people follow you, stay in touch if they want to, you know, see what Carley's doing next with the studio, anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. Carley Sells Miami is my Instagram page for all things real estate and lifestyle Miami. And then our studio page has an Instagram as well. And that one's MIA Content Studio.
And thank you for everyone that's listening in and watching the YouTube version. If this is your first time, please leave a review. Let us know what you want to hear next. And feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And thank you so much for watching. Take care.